Same game. The toast goes to one of my favorite people also as well in that stadium on the other side of things. Much maligned. There's only 2 years ago, people were calling for his job. They cut his salary in half. They did a couple other things that were kind of a little humiliating to such a guy who played there, had success there, won there, and now he's back. The expectations were always bigger than him, and all of a sudden, he's not just matching but exceeding them. Last year, he goes in. They beat Ohio State when they come to Michigan, and people kind of gave it that old, well, they kind of shocked him, caught him off guard. Not this year. Not this year. Big blowout win for Michigan and Jim Harbaugh. Who's got it better than us? They shut it all up. Yeah. Cheers to Big Blue and Coach Harbaugh.
For sure.
Back-to-back big wins against Ohio State.
Yeah.
And now we're off. Go ahead.
I give them all the credit. I give them all the credit in the world. And this is the way that I started writing about it tonight. I'll put it up tomorrow. But the big thing for me, Ohio State, you know who they you know what they look like now? They look like Peloton dad, right? They look like the dad. Peloton. They look like the dad who every morning gets on the Peloton, and you know what? He's ship-shape. He's in good shape. He looks good. He's a little ripped up. And maybe he goes for runs on the weekends. He's got the running stroller. He's doing all that stuff. But you know what? When that garbage disposal breaks, he's calling a guy.
I was curious where you're going with that.
It's interesting.
He's calling a guy. He don't want to get his hands dirty for real. And that's what I saw. That's what I saw today watching Ohio State. I thought it was a phase for them where they were working on trying to figure out their run game. Thought they were working on trying to figure out what they do defensively. And honestly, I don't blame the defense for this loss. I blame the offense because they had 3 trips in the red zone in the first quarter.
Well, I mean, that was their red zone offense sucked all day. They couldn't score. I mean, they got down there, but they couldn't execute down there. Bingo. And I think that's a big issue. But I mean, still, man, for Ohio State giving up, what was it, 5 or 6 plays of 60+ yards?
But that's what that defense does. We know that. You know that too.
No, I know. But the thing is they say Jim Knowles says if I give up 7 explosives, right? Explosives are 15 or more, but you're talking like 60 70. Plus is that's like an atomic bomb, and you gave up
4 of them.
Yeah, 4 Nagasaki's. Like, you can't be doing that, dude.
Exactly.
And expect to win at home. So to me, and especially a team that didn't have a propensity to show outside guys who can win. I mean, JJ had a couple wide open. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, and by my definition, you got 5 or 6 yards of separation against Ohio State. That is wide, smack ass open.
Yeah, absolutely.
He hit him, and that I've been hard on him and that whole scheme in terms of putting him in situations. He hit him, 12 for whatever he was, 12 for 24. Hit the explosives, got it done. What I was really impressed with, though, was
broken tackles. The broken tackles, like we saw those broken tackles when we talked about with Penn State, right?
Well, you go zero, and I think Ohio State's defensive backfield has been probably their weakest part of the link. For a much improved defense, that's probably been the weakest part of their link, and the tackling and physicality more so than anything. And I mean, it showed up to get them in that bite them in the ass a couple times, but. The other thing is, I mean, for me watching the first half, if you'd have told me that Ohio State was going to outrush them, pretty much out time of possession them, turnover battle was 0-0 at that point in time, and they'd be down. You would have never thought that, right? And I think it's hard because I don't want to take any credit away from Michigan. I thought they played a really good game, really tough game, and they grinded it out. They slow grind, stuck to what they had. They had 2 runs in the fourth quarter of 85 and 75 yards.
85 and it was like 85 and was it 68 or something?
Well, I mean, they had like 3/4 of their rushing yards in 2 plays, right? Yes. So I mean, great. Like, happy that they got it done. Just a little bit disappointed in Ohio State's showing and how it presented. I think when you watch the tape, look at it on paper, it was much better than what the score reflected, but at the same token, the big gashes and the icebergs that they hit were so big and they took on so much water, and Michigan took advantage of that. And that's how I saw it, right? It's hard to sit there and say that to me, I still have a lot of belief in Ohio State. I think it's a very talented roster. I think it's a very talented team, and I think they have a great coaching staff. And you know, again, you know, it is what it is, and we'll see how these next few weeks play out. But at the end of the day, Michigan got it done. They capitalized when they could, and Ohio State just too many self-inflicted wounds, in my opinion.